Hey John, how are you
Hey,
today?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for grabbing some time today to chat about coaching and growth and all of that. Can you just let everybody know who you are and what you do?
My name is John Obidipe, and I am a strengths coach, a certified Clifton Strengths coach. In real terms, I really work with personal development and personal growth, and just helping people enhance the way that they work, tap into a natural way of working, so they can achieve flow in their work.
Awesome. I've loved since we've met the few times that we've been able to interact, just getting to
Yeah,
talk with you about what you do and you're very passionate about it and you can really help people. And that's a little bit about what I wanted to chat through today.
yeah.
I know on professional people's like professional journey, sometimes it's hard to know when to pull in or if you should pull in other people to help you grow and develop. But why do you think it's important to reach out to other people when you're trying to grow?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about this actually earlier. When you look at other companies that exist now, the really forward-thinking companies are using data analytics and data
Mhm.
analysts to understand how they can best use the information that's around them, to make good decisions and to be the best, to perform at their
Absolutely.
best.
Hmm.
Even athletes and other professionals use coaches to kind of come into their journey and help them maximize their potential. And I think for a long time now, it's not a new concept. Leaders use executive coaches and leadership coaches to come into their journeys, and help them maximize their own potential so they can be the best leaders that they can be. So I think if I use an analogy, it's very infrequent that you look at the back half of your body.
Oh yeah, it's true.
But every day you look at the front half of your body and you kind of have the concept that that's all that exists, and that's all everybody is seeing.
Oh yeah,
But actually, you have an entire other half to you. Sometimes you don't really concentrate on it or see any of the things that are about that other side. So it's similar in a coaching context. It's difficult to kind of see every part of your personality. So
hmm,
sometimes when you have somebody else come in who's external, they can point out some of the things that you haven't seen, and often those are some of the best bits of yourself which you've just not put any concentration on. So
I
I think
love that.
that's a good reason why.
That is a really good analogy. I love it. Who would you say though are usually, and we've talked about coaches, who would you say are good people to reach out to if you want to kind of do that, like poke another person, if you want to get a little bit of development from another person, who would you say are the best people to reach out to?
It depends on where you're coming from. The I personally tap into people like Brene Brown, because
Mhm.
she's got some really awesome content
She
on
does.
boundaries, trust, and vulnerability. I've got my personal mentor, Simon Harry. He is an amazing coach, and he's taught me loads. I also tap into people like Liz Yaboa.
Mhm.
He runs a strengths Liz Talks, and she's really good on parenting. So I've always got those people that I can kind of tap into for the different sides of life I need to really maximize. And parenting is really big for me, really big.
I
So
like
yeah,
that. I like that you don't also have just like, oh, this is the one person or the one resource that I look to that you recognize,
yeah.
that you need different input from different experts and different
Absolutely,
things
because
for that.
we're a whole person, and we're not just the work that we bring. Actually, if we're having issues at home with our kids, we take that stress to work, and it kind of impacts what we do in the
For sure.
workplace. Same with our marriage and same with other sort of areas. So actually, when we bring the whole person together, we look at all the elements. It's good to kind of get that input in all areas.
Oh, I love that. And everything, kind of going back to the analogy of the body, every part of the body affects everything else. And so,
Absolutely,
if your leg hurts, everything else about you is affected. It's not just one part of your
absolutely.
body. Absolutely. Um, when do you think that will be a good time to pull in an individual professional coach?
Yeah, so it depends on where a person's really at. I think it comes a point where people, or especially leaders, feel like they need a change. And that can be because they're inspired and they're at a really positive point where they want to press in really deeply, and tap into the potential that they know they've got, but they're not accessing.
Hmm.
Other times it can be from a negative place, a slightly negative place, where they feel maybe more stagnated, and they're kind of tired of doing the same things over and over again, just producing the same results. That's the perfect time also to bring in a coach, just to shake things up and kind of try new things that they've not tried before. A really interesting time for me, which I'm exploring with a few of my clients, that they're emerging leaders, so they know that they are made for leadership, and they really want to start on a really good foot. So they, rather than kind of never quite being sure if they are enough, they want to attack it from the front foot to really learn about who they are at this early stage and
So
grow in
smart.
that confidence right from the beginning. So they grow into the confident leader, and they're not just chasing their tail, because I don't think that's an efficient way to learn how to be a leader.
Oh, I love that. I think it's such a, especially as people are learning to lead, they're learning their leadership style and personality. It would be, looking back about my career, oh my goodness, that would have been fantastic just to have
Yeah,
somebody like, this is an area that you're great in,
yeah.
not this area. This is how
Yeah,
you can, change and develop, and just to have that feedback, that is fantastic. Good for them.
absolutely. And the thing is, I think we're given the archetype or the stereotype of what a leader should be. So
Hmm.
most people spend their lives just trying to work up to attain this perfection of image, the superhero kind of image.
Hmm.
And actually, that's not what a leader is.
Yeah.
You can be the leader whoever you are, as long as you are leading authentically, and letting your best self kind of shine through. And I know it sounds really cliche, but actually, communication is something that comes naturally to you. Let's really push that and see how far we can come, because that's going to be a core part of your leadership. Sometimes actually you're really good at seeing the risks really far down the line. Let's really use that, maximize that, so you can use that information you see before anybody else does, to save the company from wasting money or
Hmm.
making mistakes. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really big part of my ethos.
I love that. And specifically, even just speaking about strengths, you're a
Mm.
strengths finder certified coach. So why
Yes.
do you feel that like, why is that approach so good to kind of focus on strengths and not necessarily, a lot of coaches and a lot of feedback that people get, especially as leaders, can
Yeah.
be very negative, and how you need
Yeah.
to improve your weaknesses. But why is strength focused coaching and development good? Why is it different?
Excuse me. Um, I think that we've spent our lives in a system, almost coming from being parented to going through the school system, going through university, where the system is constantly looking at what we're doing wrong. And so it's almost a narrative that we grow to live at, that if I ever want to do better, I must address all of these things that I'm doing incorrectly. And the good that we are and that we have within us is, I find it's just not celebrated a lot. And
Hmm.
actually, when I'm in a client meeting or session and I compliment some of my clients, it's strange how it doesn't necessarily sit very well, because they're just not used to it. That soon changes, because you get a lot of compliments and we celebrate a lot of the wins in our sessions. But if I give you an analogy, if you spend almost 25 hours of effort, let's say, pouring that into a weakness, you
Hmm.
may go from a level 2 in that area to maybe a level 4, level 5, like never really be on that average point. If you spend like 25 hours of concentrated effort and you put that into a strength, you can move from a level 2 all the way up to a level 7 or 8, just because it's natural and you've got that inclination to grow in that area. So the return on investment in terms of time in those areas of strength, it's so much more when you invest it in your strengths. And that's how Michael Jordan becomes Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods
Yeah,
become Tiger Woods,
I love
There's a
that.
no-brainer when you put it like that.
Absolutely. And I think too, the workplace is changing, like companies and corporations are changing, and realizing that not everybody's going to be cookie cutter. Right
Absolutely.
now, the employment situation all over the economy,
Yeah.
it's people want to hire. There's a lot
Yeah.
of opportunity out there. And so
Yeah.
if somebody's employed in an organization that wants a cookie cutter employee, that they're not going to make the best use of their strengths. They just want them
Yeah.
to be this robot like everybody else. Well, there's other
Yeah,
opportunities out there for them. And so it's
absolutely.
so great to have strengths that are very employable and
Yeah,
desirable, and to just really
yeah,
hone in on those. I love that. Um,
absolutely.
where can we've obviously talked about StrengthsFinder a little bit. Where or how could somebody learn more about it, or even discover what their own strengths are?
Yeah, so I mean, right off the bat, this is a Gallup tool that you can go straight to Gallup.com and look for a Clifton Strengths Finder on there, and you can take your assessment straight away and do that and get some information from the report that comes out. And it's a really rich experience just to go through that. The assessment takes about 30 minutes,
Hmm.
and you get only 10 seconds to answer each question, so they really want your natural gut feel reaction
Yep.
to the question. I think what happens then is that you get this report, and for me, that report was absolutely life changing because it confirmed so many things that were kind of tinkering on the edge, but just showed me that coaching was the path for me. But I think once you get that report, it's really important to then sit down with a coach and really unpack that, because your life is really, really complex and complicated. So many different elements in there, and sometimes as individuals, we don't really push and question ourselves and see kind of
Hmm.
what's really going on inside. So coach can really just help you unpack those results and just help you understand how they really fit into your life, and then how you can maximize who you are from that report. So I'm happy for anyone just to drop me an email, give me a call. My email is just coach at catalystgrowcoaching.co.uk, and I'll be happy just to kind of sit down and talk you through where you're at and where you want to go.
Awesome. I'll share your email address too, for sure.
Thank you.
John, thank you so much for talking today. I loved it. I always love talking with you, especially when it comes to coaching what you do. You're so passionate about it, and just, I don't know, I find it so insightful. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
See you later.
Take care.